I was just being polite by showing up when the lawyer seemed to think it was important. The whole situation felt awkward because I was essentially there to witness the legal confirmation of my own disinheritance. I tried explaining to the lawyer that Dad had been very clear about removing me from his will after I refused to take over the family business, but he kept insisting we needed to go through the formal reading anyway. He had this serious expression that suggested there was more to discuss than simple charitable donations, but I couldn't imagine what else would require my presence. I even offered to just sign whatever. Papers needed signatures and leave, but he said I needed to hear the entire will reading before making any decisions about anything. The lawyer started reading from official-looking documents while I sat there waiting for him to get to the part about charitable donations and trust establishments. He began with standard legal language about Dad being of sound mind when he created these documents, and then started listing assets, including the house and the business and various investment accounts. I was half paying attention because I assumed he was just documenting everything before explaining how it would be distributed to different charities. Then he said my name as the sole beneficiary of everything, and I literally thought there had been some kind of mistake with the paperwork. I interrupted him to explain again that Dad had specifically told me I wouldn't inherit anything because I had chosen my own career path instead of joining his business. The lawyer looked at me with this patient expression and said the will had never been changed from its original version where I was named as the primary heir to everything including the business and the house and all financial assets. The realization hit me like getting punched in the stomach by someone I hadn't seen coming. Dad had never actually disinherited me at all, despite spending years threatening to donate everything to charity if I didn't join his company. His ultimatum about choosing the business or getting nothing had been some kind of motivational strategy, instead of an actual financial punishment for following my own dreams. I sat there staring at the lawyer, trying to process that everything I thought I knew about our relationship had been completely wrong. The overwhelming emotion of discovering that Dad had been proud of my independence while pretending to be disappointed was almost too much to handle in a professional office setting. I started crying right there in the lawyer's conference room, realizing that his threats about charitable donations had been his way of testing whether I would compromise my values for money. He had wanted me to choose my passion over his pressure, and apparently had been secretly pleased when I refused to budge from my principles. The lawyer explained that Dad had specifically mentioned in private conversations how proud he was that I didn't abandon my career goals despite his threats about inheritance. All those years of family tension and ultimatums had been his way of making sure I was strong enough to succeed on my own terms, rather than just taking the easy path of joining his established business. The man had been supporting my independence while appearing to punish it, which was probably the most complicated expression of parental love I had ever encountered.